Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about if the dollar is dying. And I'm going to let you know there's no question about that. It is dying. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome to Decrypted. And guys, by the way, last week I was out sick. The entire family was out sick. We were infected with the Splarona. So I can't actually use the word because YouTube seems to be hunting people down and whacking them for using that. So anyways, let's get started. Let's get started and take a look at... This is a really tough chart to take a look at. I'm going to go ahead and come over here so I'm not blocking the view. All right. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at the value of $1 and what you're able to buy with it over a certain period of time. This is really disheartening for people who have been saving money since even 2000, right? If you're trying to save money to do something with it, invest in something or buy a house or just live, right? You have a savings account and you're just using that as backup to live on. This is a horrible sight to look at. All right, so what could you buy in 1913 for $1? 30 Hershey's chocolate bars. Then in 1929 for $1 you could buy 10 rolls of toilet paper. So the value of the dollar was actually $1. This chart's not showing it, but it actually, your dollar from where it started initially is actually only worth like 4 cents now. Yeah, 4 cents. How low can it actually go? So in 1933, $1 bought you 10 bottles of beer. Think about that. Think about that. You can walk into a grocery store and be like, here's $1. You bought 10 bottles of beer. And right now, I think a 6-pack is around like $8 to $9 or $10 now for a 6-pack. So 20 bottles of Coca-Cola Classic in 1944 for $1, for a single dollar. 10 bags of pretzels in 1953. And what'd you get? One drive-in movie ticket in 1964. As you can see, the value keeps dropping. Well, actually, that's not bad. Getting a drive-in theater for $1, it's pretty good. 17 oranges in 1971. So you can buy a pretty big bag of oranges in 1971 for $1. Moving on. So now in 2008, 2 lemons. 2 lemons. And now in 2020, well, we're in 2022, so it's worse now, by the way. I think a McDonald's coffee is worth more than $1 now. So it's not looking good. So what do you do with your money? How do you save up? You can't put it in your savings account because it's just basically diminishing in value just sitting there. It's like you're getting robbed, right? You work 40 hours a week and struggle to save up. And, you know, you got like 10 grand or something, or 50 grand or 100 grand, or whatever you've saved up. It's worth half that now. And we're going to get into why that is. So let's take a look at the CPI numbers. The Consumer Price Index numbers were revealed last week, and they're saying it went up about 7%. Now, keep in mind, this 7% is basically an average measurement across the board from different industries, and it doesn't represent actual everyday inflation on items that you spend money on, which is what I argue is way more important. So let's take a look at meat prices. 40%. 40% increase on meat. So, by the way, on average, for everyday expenditures, we've gone up between, I think, 37 to about 50% increase on day-to-day expenses. So your buying power has diminished by that amount. Your dollar's value has diminished by about 40%. So do you still want to save your money up in a savings account, or, put it under your pillow or wherever you save it? I don't think so. Take a look at this. Bacon prices, 8.4% increase. Seafood, 6.4%. Milk, 7.5%. These are things you spend money. Citrus fruits, 9.5%. This is money you spend on a daily basis because you buy fruits and vegetables and various foods, right? So it isn't 7% like the CPI is showing, but it gets worse because we're going to take a look at fuel, which is something we spend more money on than probably some of these food items, right? So look at this. Gasoline, 45% increase on gasoline. And I don't need to tell you this. You know this because you're filling up every week, right? Let's take a look down here. Some of consumer products, washers and dryers up 29%. Clothing's gone up 11%, 15% on women's dresses. Jewelry's 12.3%. That's not really a necessity or an everyday expenditure, but still. Look at this. Used cars and trucks have gone up 45%. 45%. And why haven't new trucks gone up? And I think that also is going to segue into why I think real estate is probably not the best place to put your money either. Because here's the reason why I think new vehicles have not increased in value as fast as used vehicles. Because people, there's a prohibitive nature in buying new, right? You have to have pre-qualifications for credit. You have to have basically pre-qualifications for credit. and it's more expensive to buy new, right? So more people are trying to save their money, and they're trying to buy used. But the problem is it's going up higher and higher. And the value of the money that they've been saving is going down faster and faster. So something's got to give. Look at this. So hotels and motels, 16.9% increase, 17%. Domestic services, I don't know what that is. I don't actually know what domestic services are, but 10.6% on that. Moving and storage, 17%. Trucks and car rentals, 87% increase. So as you guys can see, the 7% CPI increase does not represent the entire picture. Your day-to-day expenditures have probably increased about 40%, and your buying power of your dollar has decreased about 40% on things you actually spend money on, because you're not buying a yacht or some kind of industrial machinery or whatever. So we don't really care that, inflation has been kinder to those industries. It doesn't mean anything to us. So what are you going to do if you can't save your money in a savings account? And also, we're going to take a look at the stock market and see that there's something better. There's something better, and that's crypto, right? And let's take a look here. What you would have made if you had invested, let's see, what do we got here? $100, right? For 10 years, how much money you would have made. So if you had put in $100 in Alibaba 10 years ago, you would have made $208. If you put it in Walmart, you would have made $271 on your $100, right? Let's move up. Facebook, $520 you would have made on your $100 investment for 10 years of waiting. You'd have to wait 10 years, right, to make that. Microsoft, you would have done better. You would have been $1,000 up. That's a 10x increase. It's pretty good, right? And then we got Amazon. Your $100 in Amazon 10 years ago would have made you $3,300 today. That's pretty good for stock market and everything. But let's take a look at Bitcoin, which absolutely dwarfs by any measure, right? This is orders of magnitude beyond anything out there. It's pretty much smashed every metric that we've had for investment in the past 10 years. 9 $9.2 million. Your $100 that you put in 10 years ago, 10 years of waiting for $100, right? $9.2 million today. So I don't know. I don't really think there's even an argument here to be made for anything else. You can't make an argument at this point. Yeah, crypto's a little more volatile, but who cares? Who cares if it's volatile if the overall arc of it is increasing? I mean, unless you're a day trader, you don't really care about the volatility as long as its performance year after year is good. And in this case, it is not just good, it's phenomenal. It's unseen. So let's take a look at gold. I'm going to look at gold because that was kind of the traditional, inflation hedge for your everyday Joe. And I'm sorry to say that gold just hasn't, it's dead. I think gold is dead. I'm going to say it. So for the past 10 years, I think gold has increased only $200. So if you waited 10 years, you bought 1 ounce of gold for what was gold back then? I think it was like $1,800 or something like that. So if you bought 1 ounce of gold 10 years ago, you made $200 on it. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. This, by the way, this chart represents from 2020 to 2021. That's 1 year. And in that 1 year, gold's moved 23%, and Bitcoin, I mean, has moved up 294% in 1 year. So the numbers between Bitcoin and just crypto in general versus other asset classes, it's just orders of magnitude beyond anything you can compare it to. And the only thing I think that may come close is real estate. But the problem with real estate is this. It's gone up a lot at this point. I mean, I don't know how much more it's going to go up. That's for starters. Second, it's prohibitive for the same reason why I think people aren't buying new cars and they're buying used cars, because there's in the entry to it, right? The barriers to entry for real estate are much, much higher. I think you have to make 3 times your mortgage monthly from your job or wherever. Your income has to be 3 times higher than your mortgage in order to even start to qualify for a loan. You have to have good credit, right? Plus you have to make a down payment. It's way more prohibitive for your everyday person to get into real estate as an investment class than it is crypto. You can put $100 in crypto in an instant. You can log into your Coinbase account and you can basically say, oh, put $100 in here, put $1,000 in here, and instantly the transaction is made and you're already in. You've bought an asset class that has been outperforming everything else out there on the market. So let's look at something else which has to do with timing, right? If you are in real estate and you're using it as an asset class, first of all, the transaction times for this asset class are ridiculous, right? You got about a 45-day escrow procedure or process, right? So even if you wanted to get out, let's say you've already bought in and you want to get out, you want to recover your investment and move it somewhere else because maybe you're sensing something in the market and prices are going to drop, you want to recover your investment. Guess how long you have to wait? 45 days, right? Well, it could be actually longer. The escrow process is 45 days. You have to put the property on the market and somebody has to come in. Realtors have to bring people in to take a look at the property. And, once the sale has been made, then you have to wait 45 days for closing. I mean, the process can take 2-3 months. You don't know. And in 2 to 3 months in this market, a lot can change. So I personally don't think real estate is a better asset class for investment and as an inflation hedge. Just it's not better than crypto. So the only argument that you can make is that crypto is a lot more volatile than the real estate market. Yeah, That's probably true. But do you want to make 294% gains in 1 year? Or I actually don't know what the gains in real estate are. I haven't looked at that. So I came unprepared. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to go over a few things and show you how it's just the value of your dollar is basically being taken away from you, and putting it in just cash and saving up in cash is probably a huge mistake. And even if inflation wasn't a thing, you're basically missing out on gains that you could be having if you were in crypto. So, but it is a thing. So even just holding on to cash is basically robbing you of your wealth. Your hard-earned money is just basically being cut in half. And by the way, 2022 just started, so we don't really know how much higher the inflation rate can go. I think it's going to go much higher than 7%. It already has. It's being represented on a daily basis with your expenditures. So I don't know. It's keeping money in cash, or keeping wealth in cash, is it's a scary prospect today, and I definitely wouldn't do it, nor would I recommend it. Anyways, that's basically all I wanted to cover today. It's been a while since I made a video because, again, we were sick with the Splarona, and we're recovering right now. Everyone's doing good. Anyways, that's about it. All right, guys, go ahead and make sure to like and subscribe. And that's about it. Have a great week. Until the next time.